Before I begin, I have a question for you all, and feel free to shout out and answer. Does anyone know the world record for the most number of spoken languages? Well, it's reported to be Sir John Barron, the governor of Hong Kong between 1854 and 1859, who is said to have known about 200 languages and could speak about 100. Now, you're probably wondering, who is this girl, and why does she want to talk about languages? It's probably pretty boring. Well, contrary to popular belief, languages happen to be very interesting due to its rich history. Languages and words are what give us a written record. And without a written record, we wouldn't have an accurate understanding of history. Tamil, one of the oldest languages in the world, still spoken today at 5,000 years old, and it also happens to be my mother tongue. As you can see on the map, you can see how many people speak Tamil throughout the world. Languages are vital in our everyday lives and are especially important in our school system. In Forsyth, Fulton, and Gwinnett County, some of the common languages offered are Spanish, French, German, Latin, and American Sign Language. In Forsyth County, course instruction begins with the Level 1 course for any language. In Fulton County, course instruction is offered between grades 6 through 12. And finally, in Gwinnett County, foreign language immersion begins in select elementary schools. In middle schools, they offer introductory courses. And finally, in high schools, they allow for further immersion into any language. Now, in order to attain fluency in a language, experts recommend that students learn languages at a young age. Now, sources say that this can be at any age, but they recommend that they learn it before they hit puberty. However, in our school systems, students typically learn their second or third language, typically after they hit puberty. Even though Gwinnett and Fulton County do offer some language opportunities at a younger age, just like Forsyth County, the full language immersion experience doesn't really begin until 8th grade. In order to completely benefit from learning a language, starting early will be the best course of action. For example, when you were younger, learning English or your mother tongue if you speak another language, it probably was very simple to understand how to speak it. But as you get older, it becomes much more difficult. In the state of Georgia, they require 2 world language credits to graduate. However, they recommend 3 in order to get into a good college. So most students take 3 years of world language and they quit. Now, while discussing with my friends and peers as to why they do so, they gave me 2 main reasons. Number 1, they want to make space for a different subject or career pathway. And number 2, they think learning a language is too difficult and takes too much effort. One thing that upsets me is the fact that they think that learning a language is not as important as taking a class as, for example, AP Psychology or AP Statistics. Because without a language, how can you communicate? Languages are vital in our everyday lives. Even in today's workforce, when combining and talking with clients throughout the world, languages are important. And employers look for language skills in their future employees. Now, moving on to the point about it being too difficult. When has anything been easy? When you were younger, learning what 1 plus 1 or what a common noun was, did you instantly understand it? Probably not. It took time and effort to learn the basics of math and English. Just like that, it takes time and effort to learn the basics of a language. But that doesn't mean you should just give up. Now, I understand that sometimes we need to make a sacrifice in order to take a class that we would like to, but the language shouldn't be the first thing to go. Learning languages has been a massive part of my life, as I am trilingual. I can read, write, and speak English, Tamil, my mother tongue, and Spanish. I learned English and Tamil simultaneously, as these are the 2 languages that I speak at home. I learned Spanish at school, and I'm currently in the AP Spanish Language and Culture class, continually improving my communication skills on a day-to-day basis. I attended the local Tamil school and received a credit towards my graduation. Then I received a seal of biliteracy that goes on my high school diploma. I attended this summer school for 8 years, then spent an additional year earning my seal. Now, there were times when it was just the easiest thing, but then there were times when it was extremely difficult. I remember about 3 years before I was about to graduate, they were teaching us how to write essays. the most dreaded thing. Like, why couldn't I write an essay about my washing machine? Yeah, that was a real topic. At one point, I was just about to write, I don't know, and just call it a day. But then I had realized I had put in so much hard work and effort into learning this language that I shouldn't just give up. I'm so happy that I did not quit, because at the end of the day, I would have regretted it. My main goal for learning Spanish is to continue learning it throughout high school and college as well. Now, through learning languages, this has taught me some important benefits. Firstly, it has increased my thinking skills, especially in stressful situations. For example, when I'm taking a test and I don't understand a specific part of the question, I'm easily able to translate it into a different language, which increases my comprehensibility. Therefore, I'm able to score higher and show that I understand the bigger picture of the standard that they're assessing. The second benefit is the obvious one: increased communication. The majority of my extended family lives in India, so at times there could be communication barriers due to a difference in language. However, because I am fluent in my mother tongue, I am able to have an in-depth conversation with my relatives. However, this isn't the case with some of my friends. Many of them are not fluent in their mother tongue and therefore have a hard time communicating. They often have to have their parents as translators in between, which makes communication even more difficult. My main motivation for learning Spanish is that in the future, I want to pursue medicine. The necessity for medical translators is high, as there are many people in the United States who do not speak English as their first language, and the training for these translators is extremely difficult. Therefore, I want to immerse myself into the language so that I can better help my patients. As you can see on the map, Spanish is an extremely popular language in the United States, which will make it easy for me to communicate with my patients. Languages are a tool that connect us all in a variety of relationships. These can be professional or personal. Having the knowledge of multiple languages will help us all be connected even more. I encourage each and every one of you to learn a language if you haven't already. And to the students, don't quit your language at school, because at the end of the day, your communication skills are going to help you in the long run. Thank you.